This is the transition on Atlantic Television Network. Analyst says Governor Fubara's decision to conduct the forthcoming local government elections in the state is to gain support and fellowship. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst Nze Nze said Governor Fubara's recent reactions is aimed at the entire political inclusion.
He's doing some certain things just to impress the masses, the people of Rivers State. You see that several people have come from the opposition angle to kick against the conduct of the local government election, which they were promoting earlier when they felt this.
Meanwhile, Lekan Ojos has expressed doubt on the success of the planned local government elections in the state.
I've not seen the sign of any possibility because definitely the RISEC should have given a certain date, and I think there is a stipulated period of time that notice of election must be given, so that when campaign will start, when the primary election will be conducted, after primary election, when campaign will start, and to when the election will be held, to when the swearing will be.
This is coming after Governor Fubara has affirmed that the forthcoming local government election will hold as scheduled by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. Bayelsa State government has described the vandalization of power towers and consequent blackout in the state as an attack on the social and economic well-being of the residents of the state and sabotage on government's investments drive. The State Commissioner for Information Orientation and Strategy, Ebionwo Koku Obiaye, who disclosed this while speaking to journalists after an on-the-spot assessment of the ongoing work to re-erect the 2 out of the 3 dismembered and collapsed power tower at the Igbongene end of the transmission company of Nigerian facilities. Honorable Koku Biayi advised residents to be vigilant, and the recent extensive attack on the power line supplying electricity to the state is suggestive of a calculated attempt at making life difficult for the residents of the state, urging them to join government and condemning the unfortunate criminals' attacks on the power towers, and commended the Transmission Company of Nigeria for responding quickly to Bayelsa State government calls to restore the collapsed tower. She expressed their optimism that power will be restored with the quick recommendation of repaired work in Bayelsa, including 30 other collapsed and compromised towers between Okuigwe and Mbiama in Rivers State.
We are concerned, and government is working with TCN to ensure that we will find a solution to this. So Bayelsa should know, instead of, attacking this issue politically, because we hear and we see a lot of people making malicious comments on Facebook and on social media. For this particular project, it's a federal government project. And I want to say, commending the TCN that they have actually taken proactive steps.
Also speaking on the managing director of the Bayelsa State Electricity Company Limited, Engineer Olis Keme Nambo, said the Bayelsa State government is committed to working with every stakeholders to ensure that power is restored in the state before long, and expressed regret over the attitude of the residents to government assets, insisting that the only way is to ensure that citizens derive enduring benefit from the amenities in their communities is to own such assets and protect them, since they are the primary beneficiaries of such infrastructure.
By the estimation of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, the confidence told me that it will cost not less than 1.7 billion naira to get these 14 towers re-erected. Now that we have 11 also collapsed between Awoda and Mbiama, and then 3 other ones buckled, I will not be able to give exact time frame until we meet with the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria. But in my engineering knowledge, I know that it will not take less than 4 to 5 weeks.
Some men in the military uniform has allegedly arrested the President General of Ewo Kingdom, Professor Arthur Ekpoekpo, and 2 other leaders of the Okoama community in Ogale South local government area of Delta State. Ekpoekpo was among those declared wanted by the military authorities on the heels of the Okoama crisis. This is coming after soldiers numbering 17 who were on a peace mission to Okoama community were killed on March 14, 2024, and following the killings, the military invaded the community, forcing residents to flee to neighboring communities. And Crack Ekpoekpo, who was among those declared wanted over the killings of the soldiers, was nabbed at an undisclosed location in Sapele on Sunday night, while his present whereabouts remain unknown. Eyewitness say Chief Blevis Adebo and Dennis Akobaye were similarly arrested on Monday morning by airmen in a plainclothes at various locations in Ugali, while a leader of the community who would not want his name in print because of the sensitive nature of the matter told journalists in Warri on Monday that the arrest might not be unconnected to the March 14 killings of 14 military personnel around the community. Management of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has issued an operational licenses to Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, Alogbo in Akpoba, Oka local government area of Edo State. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authorities in the technical and commercial regulators of midstream and downstream operations in the petroleum industry, and the insurance of the operational license is the final stage of approval from the regulatory authorities. That implies that the plant can now fully operate as a refinery. The Executive Director, Hydrocarbon Processing Plant Installation and Plantation Infrastructure, Francis Ogari, handed over the operational license to the refinery head, Technical Operations, Shegun Kenny, and assured the management of the refinery that the regulatory authority is a business enabler and would be ready to give AIPCC Energy and Edo Refinery all the necessary support in all its projects. Responding, the head of the technical operations of the Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, Shegun Okeni, said the company is out to make her contributions to the petroleum refinery and gas processing subsector. Independent National Electoral Commission has handed over the soft copy of the certified true copy of the voters register to registered political parties participating in the forthcoming September 21, 2024 governorship in Edo State. The Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Anugbem Onoa, represented the register to the political parties represented by chairman, secretaries, and other officials. Onoa presented the register to Labour Party governorship candidate Barrister Olumide Akmata as a result of the leadership crisis rocking the party in the state, while the non-presentation of the register to the Labour Party representatives was due to the leadership crisis in the state, which polarized the party into the functions, while the parties has Barrister Kelly Obalo and Elizabeth Atifis as chairman of his function. According to Onoha, the register would be presented to Akmata, being the candidate of the party for the election, adding that the presentation of the register was in line with the relevant section of the Electoral Act that mandated the commission to be within 30 days to the election present the voters registered to political party. Onoha presented the register to Labour Party governorship candidate Barrister Olumide Akpata as a result of the leadership crisis rocking the party in the state, adding that the non-presentation of the register to the Labour Party representative is due to the leadership crisis in the state, which has polarized the party into functions. Burial of the former governor of Old Abia State. Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu has been fixed for November 8, 2024. Onu, the former governor of Old Abia State, passed away at the age of 73 on April 11, 2024, after a brief illness. A statement from the burial committee chaired by former Senate President Anaim Pius Anyayim and former Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi announced that the 5-day funeral ceremony will take place in Abuja, Abia, and Ebonyi State. The schedule includes a night of tribute on November 4, 2024 at the Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja starting at 5 p.m. A requiem mass in his honor will be held at the Church of Assumption in Asokoro, Abuja on November 5, 2024. On November 6, a lying-in state will be conducted at Abia State Executive Council Chamber at 11 a.m., followed by another day of tribute at the International Conference Center in Abakaliki, the capital of Ebonyi State. At 1 p.m. on the same day, on November 7, a lying-in state will take place at the Ebonyi State Executive Council Chamber at noon, and the referendum mass Christian wake will be held at Uburu at 5 p.m. Anambra State Police Command and the Security Joint Task Force has rescued a kidnapped victim in Iala area of the state. The command's public relations officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, who confirmed the rescue in the state in statement on Tuesday, said the victim was rescued after Operation busted a criminal den at Omoduru, Ihala local government area of the state. He said that the feat was achieved following the arrest of the suspect name withheld a few weeks ago, and arrested suspect confessed to being a member of a notorious kidnap gang terrorizing the Ihiala area of the state. He also said the rescued victim, a man in his mid-30s, has been debriefed and released to his family while operations were still ongoing, adding that the ongoing operation in Ihiala had a combined team of police, military personnel, and members of Anambra Vigilance Group. Nigeria Center for Disease Control says a number of suspected and confirmed Mpox cases in the country has declined over the past 4 weeks. The NCDC disclosed this via its official website that Mpox is an infectious virus disease. Viral disease that can occur in humans and other animals, and the symptoms include rashes and form blisters, fever, and swollen nodes. The illness is usually mild, and most infected individuals recovered from a few weeks without treatment, and the Public Health Agency in its latest data said 51 new suspected cases were reported between epidemiological weeks 29 to 32 of 2024. According to the NCDC, it was a significant drop from 102 cases reported during the previous 4 weeks, and the cases were recorded across 26 local government areas in 18 states, adding that out of the new suspected cases, 2 were confirmed positive, with 1 cases each reported in Ebonyi and Enugu. It described probable case as such that meets the clinical cases definition, not laboratory confirmed, that has an epidemiological links to a confirmed case, and urge healthcare providers to be vigilant for patients representing fever, rash, and other Mpox symptoms, especially if they have a history of travel to affect areas or contact with suspect cases. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control say that the National Mpox Technical Working Group comprises multi-sectoral and multi-partner teams, continued in its effort to monitor and respond to the outbreak across the nation, and urge Nigerians to remain vigilant and adhere to public health guidelines to curb the spread of Mpox, particularly in affected states. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Adegoke Fayode has assured commuters and residents of the state of the adequate securities in the Third Mainland Bridge and other major roads. A statement by a command spokesperson, SP Benjamin Hondurin, said, and reassurance became necessary in view of the publication about the absence of police operatives on the Torret Midland Bridge and other roads in the state. And urged motorists and other residents not to entertain fear, as all the black spots were heavily policed. Viadet also urged visitors that their security would continue to be prioritized at all times. Oyo State government has commenced the payment of compensation to owners of the affected properties along the Ajia Inukan local government development area, or NARA local government of the state. The Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Williams Akin Fumilayo, who disclosed this at a meeting with a claimant, said the government recently acquired an expansive of land for developmental project comprising the construction of Air Forces Base, General Hospital, and Information Communication and Technology Centers, which he said were all sited at Ajia in Onora local government area corridor of the state. Akin Fumilayo said the Oyo State government has earmarked the sum of 13,462,446 naira 50 kobo as compensation to the affected claimant, and compensation, according to Akin Fumilayo, is a crucial step towards fostering a good relationship between the government and the resident, while the Oyo State government has earlier conducted an identification and verification exercise for the property owners along the corridor of the project, after which their properties were valued in preparation for the payment of the compensation by the government. Independent National Electoral Commission has expressed sadness over the dismiss of his Ogun State Resident Electoral Commission, Mr. Olayiye Ajalaye. ATN reports that Ajalaye died on Monday after attending a regular quarterly meeting of the Commission in Abuja. In a statement by the Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voters Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, in Abuja on Tuesday, INEC commiserate with the immediate family of the deceased, praying to God to grant him eternal rest. Ijalaye, who hailed from Owo, Ondo State, was born in 1958 and graduated with a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, in 1982, and was called to the Nigerian bar in 1983. He also obtained a master's degree in law from the same university in 1995. Ogun State has commenced rice production with a heavy of the 200 acres rice farm at Mbaro in Obafemi Owode local government area. Ogun State Governor Dapo Biodun kicked off the harvest and highlighted the state achievements of the milestone in becoming a rice-producing state, said the Ogun State rice production effort is driven by the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project and supported by the World Bank to stimulate economic growth and development, and held the achievement of the producing locally grown rice as placing Ogun State on par with other rice-producing states including Lagos, Kebbi, and Bayelsa. This is a developmental step towards food security, creation of employment opportunities, and improving the livelihood of residents within the state, adding that the farm has yield 7 metric tons per acre, potentially translating to 1,400 metric tons of maize rice from the 200 acres, with an efficiency yield of about 70%, adding that the rice farm could result in approximately 20,000 bags of milled rice per cycle, valued at around 1 billion naira, and if replicated 3 times annually, the project would generate 3 billion in revenue. He also said the agricultural sector intervention would offer crucial support to farmers, including advanced agricultural technique, access to quality seed, as well as modern irrigation system and technical trainings at a 65% discount on mechanization costs. Ogun State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Bolu Wotumo, and StarTimes, Commissioner for Finance Dapo Okubadejo commended the farmers for their dedication, stressing that the project is integral to the state agenda of producing food locally to feed its population, while the project coordinator Mosun Owo Odunisi highlighted the project's goals of producing high-quality rice and its positive impact on citizens across various sectors. Court of Appeal has ordered the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to produce himself for arraignment. The judgment delivered by the Kogi State High Court also restrained Bello from taking further steps in charge unless he is arraigned. This is coming after Governor Usman Dodo has shuttled attempt by EFCC's operatives to arrest Bello from his residence in Abuja, while the EFCC is currently prosecuting Bello for alleged misappropriation of over 80 billion naira while he was a governor for 8 years. Permanent Secretary of Kano Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs Alhaji Mohammed Kabawa, alongside Gaba Kwankwaso, nephew to the influential NNPP national leader, son Rabiu Kwankwaso. Also, 3 others have been arrested over their alleged involvement in the multi-billion naira drug supply scam. Their arrest was announced by the State Police Compliance and Anti-Corruption Commission on Tuesday. Among the arrested is Alhaji Abdullahi Bashir, the chairman of the state branch of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, who also head the Toruni local government area. Gaba Kwankwaso, the managing director of Movamd Pharmaceutical Standard of the center of its nefarious plot, allegedly coiling with others to execute a drug supply scheme. The suspects are accused of conspiracy to award an creative contract to Nawament, enabling the company to provide essential drugs to 38 local government areas across the state, all while sharply violating stagnant public prosecution laws. Preliminary investigation, according to the commission, revealed that each of the 38 local governments paid 9.1 billion naira to Nawament for the procurement of drugs, but the drugs were no supply. The public relations officer of the commission, Kabiru, confirmed the arrest, adding that the investigation was ongoing. Kabiru said the commission was working to unravel the full extent of the alleged scam and bring those responsible to justice. He also confirmed that the suspects were in the commission's custody as at the time of filing this report. Chief Judge of Katsina State, Justice Musa Dalandi, has introduced a special electronic court that will be established to try cases related to corrupt individuals in the state. Justice Dalandi, who disclosed this while hosting the State Anti-Corruption Commission at High Court 1 in Katsina, said Chairman of the Commission, retired Justice Lawal Garba, led other members of the Anti-Graft Agency on their familiarization visit to the Chief Judge for judicial advice, among others. According to Dalandi, in order to stem the tide of corruption in Katsina State, a special court will be designated for the trial of such offenders. Earlier, the Commission's chairman, Justice Lawal, has stressed that the time was at Chief Judge office to intimate on her operation and seek collaborations, while Governor Diko Umar had in late 2023 had established an anti-drafts commission to stem the tide of corruption in the state. Analysts is seeking for university management in Sokoto State to solicit for the state government intervention in the repair of school structures. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a public affairs analyst Emmanuel Onyeka tasked the school management on the need to relate and collaborate with relevant agencies in order to assist in the repair of learning facility.
You must state what it is. in matters like this, what I expect the university management to do is to reach out to the visitor of that university, either the governor or the president, to intervene, right? Otherwise, like the school spokesperson has said, they have to make a quick alternative for them. Because, you know,
Onyeka also said adequate investigation will go a long way to ascertain the learning condition of the students.
On each lies the head that wears a crown. We might just be thinking that these leaders are having it all fun. Some of them, you might think that they are not passing through difficulties or they don't have the interests of the people at heart. I know there could be, it's possible in Nigeria that there are some leaders that have interests of the people at heart, but they have, you know, some road.
This is coming after university students in Sokoto State bemoan dilapidated lecture halls ahead of exams. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has disbursed over 209.8 billion naira to 170 primary healthcare centers across the 27 local government areas of the state. In a ceremony held at the government house in Maiduguri, the state capital, Governor Zulum presented check to selected health facilities from each of the 3 senatorial zones and charged all facility managers and coordinators of the local government's primary healthcare center to be dedicated to their responsibilities by ensuring quality service to the people. Meanwhile, Zulum directed the 27 local government chairpersons to manage the primary healthcare centers in their domain and ensure optimal services, and also expressed plan to rehabilitate all the primary healthcare centers across the 27 local government areas of Borno State. In his address, the State Commissioner for Health and Human Service, Professor Babagana, said the disbursement was part of Zulum's commitment to ensuring quality health care to the citizens of Borno State and to ensure that every person in the state has access to quality health care services. You are watching the transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has sacked Jalai Rabi, whom he appointed last October, and appointed Professor Abdullahi Usman as executive chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. Arabi's removal comes after 90 billion naira Hajj subsidy probe by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which has seen Arabi being grilled and detained. The President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngalali, in a statement titled President Bola Tinubu's appointment chairman of the National Hajj Commission, said on August 16, the EFCC said it detains Rabi, the NACON Secretary Abdullahi Kantogora, over illegal withdrawal and alleged mismanagement of the 90 billion naira 2024 Hajj Intervention Fund. And the EFCC discovered that from the 90 billion Hajj subsidy, Rabbi fraudulently overpaid himself in order above the necessary operational costs. Ngalali said the president expected the new NACON chairman to discharge his duty with integrity, transparency, and utmost fidelity to the nation. President Bola Tinubu says he won't interfere in the activities of anti-draft agencies and has since assumed office made deliberate effort to tackle corruption by funding the anti-draft agencies to deliver. Tinubu described corruption as one of the most significant obstacles to the country's progress, saying all hands must be on deck to confront it. Represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, the President spoke in Abuja at the 6th Annual General Assembly of the Network of Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa and said corruption remains one of the most significant obstacles to the progress of the prosperity. Tinubu, who is the chairman of the Authority of the Economic Community of West African States, called on ECOWAS countries to harmonize their legal framework and strengthen the independence of capacity of anti-corruption institutions, among others. He promised to enhance cross-border cooperation in investigation and assess recovery, and will investigate in innovative technologies to detect and prevent corrupt practices to strengthen the independence and capacity of the National Anti-Corruption Institution. While in his presentation, Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga said African countries lost an estimated $8.6 billion yearly to illicit financial flow, which weakens economy as well as deprive government of essential revenue and causes poverty. Experts has expressed mid-reaction following the President Tinubu's recent press release concerning adequate funding and proactivity against crime and corruption in the country. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, a development expert, Loveday Dani, expressed doubts on the recent claims of presidency over sufficient funding and provision against corruption. Loveday tasked the president on the need for viable record of cases of corruption paraded so far. This is coming after President Tinubu said his government was winning the war against corruption, citing the strengthening of anti-corruption agencies and the political wills to implement the ECOWAS protocols against corruption. Federal government has inaugurated a 10-man intra-ministerial committee to enforce the Supreme Court's judgment on local government autonomy. This is coming after the Supreme Court on 11th July granted autonomy to local government across the country. The 7-man panel in a judgment delivered Justice Emmanuel Ajim declared that the 774 local government councils in the country should manage their fund. Also held that governmental power is divided into 3 arms: the federal, the state, and the local government. A statement by Director of Information and Public Relations at the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Shegun Imohelsin, said the FG has set up a committee of the implementation of the judgment, while Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, would lead the committee. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economic, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Accountant General of the Federation are members of the committee and others. The objective of the committee is to ensure that local governments in the country enjoy their autonomy. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has inaugurated over 169 officers of a newly established Special Intervention Squad to tackle banditry, kidnapping, and other crimes in the country. Speaking during the graduation ceremony of the officers at the Police Mobile Force Training College, Hendy Hills in the Nasarawa Egon local government area of the Nasarawa state, the IG said the Special Intervention Squad signified a significant advancement in its operational strategy, drawing upon the best practices of the global successful law enforcement model, adding that the unit was meticulously drafted to fill the critical gaps in the police current system to provide a robust mechanism for rapid response and high-impact intervention. The IG expressed his gratitude to the Excellency David Green, charge the affairs of the Embassy of the United States of America, Abuja, as well as the officials from the Bureau of International Narcotics and the Law Enforcement Affairs, other consular staff, while thanking the GS Foundation and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime for their invaluable contribution to the Nigerian police forces in its fight against all forms of crimes in the country. He also urged the 196 graduating officers to ensure that they approach every challenge with unwavering determination, integrity, and a steadfast commitment to upholding the highest standard of professional conduct. On his part, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the SI Lanre Ogunlowo said the training of the 169 personnel, which lasted 7 weeks, started in Lagos State and ended at the Enede Hills in Nasarawa State, while the Minister of the State for Police Affairs, Imaman Suleiman, appreciated the IG and his team for good work they were doing to keep the country safe, adding that President Bola Tinubu's led administration was fully in support of the creation of the special courts to fight all forms of insecurity in the country. Analysts have decried the out of criminal involvement of Nigerians for quick money. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Confidence Twadon, said a lot of Nigerians has resorted to criminality and other vices in the quest for quick money.
They want to make quick money. You know, how much, which kind of business will you do in Nigeria that will fetch you that amount of money, you know, even in how many years? But that is just one transporting. You can make that amount of money. Because of quick money, greed, people.
Twadon blames the federal government for its inability to tackle hardship and lack of basic amenities for citizens.
That our government should do things, put things in place that will make the country better, so that people can at least see 3 square meals to eat and be comfortable. We think it's a joke. You know, lack of all of these basic amenities drive people into crime and criminality.
This is coming after the Veteran-Bonds businessman Paul Maduha was arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, after he tested positive for ingestion of cocaine worth 6 billion naira. People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party are probing the President Bola Tinubu's led federal government for purchasing a new presidential jet worth $100 million without approval of the National Assembly. The PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi, the Deputy Youth Leader Timothy Sardolo, who described the action of the government as insensitive, while Nigerians are generally facing hard times and struggling to feed, while the campaign spokesman for the Labour Party's presidential candidate Yongswa Tanko said it was worrisome that the president will prioritize his convenience over the well-being of the generality of Nigerians amid the economic hardship in the country. This is coming after on Monday, President Tinubu embarked on a working visit to France abroad on newly acquired Airbus 338 business jet, while the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onuaga, shared image of the presidential jet on his verified X handle, providing the public with a glimpse of the new addition to the presidential fleet. According to Onuaga, this new jet replaced the old Boeing 737B 700 BBJ, which has been in service for 19 years since its purchase during former President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, stressing that the upgrade mark a significant step in modernizing the presidential fleet. Nigerian Labour Congress President Joe Ajoro has fixed a date to honor the invitation for the Nigerian Police Force. Ajoro fixed Wednesday, August 29 to honor the invitation and has communicated with date to the Inspector General of Police via a letter from his lawyers, Falana and Falana Chambers. This is coming after the NLC president was summoned by the police over alleged criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime, and why in a letter by his lawyers also demanded details of the allegations leveled against him by the police. He also said the decision in his accordance with the provision of Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 has altered Ajaro's request for details and nature of the allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime levied against him. Meanwhile, leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress has threatened to shut down tools nationwide in the event that Nigerian police detain its president, Comrade Joe Ajero. The union handed down the threat on Tuesday morning at its headquarters shortly after holding an emergency National Executive Council meeting to discuss the invitation of the NLC president by the police over allegations of terrorism financing, while NCE resolved that Ajoro should honor the police invitation, but noted that their legal advisor should seek more time for the NLC president to appear before the police authorities. Comrade Ado Kabiru Sani, the deputy president of the NLC, enjoined the nation's workforce to remain on standby for further directive should be the police act contrary to their expectations of detaining Ajero. And now to business reports. President Bola Tinubu has appointed a new management team for the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. The presidency discloses in a statement signed by Tinubu's special advisor on media and publicity, Juri Ngelale, titled President Tinubu's appoint new management team for the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, said the new members of the management of the company are Jennifer Adigaje as Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer, while Abdullahi Kasim will serve as the Executive Director, Power Generation, and Bello Bello as Executive Director on Network, and Emmanuel Umeoji as Executive Director on Corporate Services, as well as others. Ngelali said Tinubu expected the new members of the management of the company to deploy their expertise and experiences to drive Niger Delta Power Holding Company's mandate of effectively managing the national integrated power projects. Organized labor has called on Nigerians to be patient with the federal and state governments following the delay in the implementation of a new minimum wage. This was even as the workers' union absolved the federal government of any wrongdoing, saying it will be unfair to conclude that there was a deliberate attempt to avoid paying the new minimum wage. The deputy president of Nigerian Labour Congress Political Commission, Professor Theophilus Ndubuku, who discloses, said President Bola Tinubu signed the new minimum wage into law on July 29 after meeting the leaders of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. While only Lagos and Edo claim to have started paying the new minimum wage, the Adamawa government has also joined a growing list of states willing to pay the new minimum wage on Monday. Ndubuku, however, insisted that it was important to let people know that there might be a slight delay as a result of the processes involved in the implementation of the 70,000 naira wage, and expressed optimism that the process may be concluded by the end of August. Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited has fixed September 24 as a new date for the commercial commencement of Port Harcourt Refinery. The Chief Financial Officers of NNPCL, Umar Ajija, who discloses in Abuja, said the petroleum product will be ready for testing before it is usually supplied to the domestic market in September. This is coming after the National President of the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Giri Harry, said the refinery is set to commencement, while in July, Melia Kari, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, said the refinery with a combined capacity of 250 barrels per day would commence operation in August. Still ahead, international tidbits. 44th United States President Barack Obama has recommended Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Obama gave the endorsement while addressing the party faithful and is expected to pay tribute to outgoing President Joe Biden, who served as a vice president for 8 years and will use his well-known rhetorical power to deliver a thundering endorsement of the Democratic presidential nominees, Harris. Obama, who got his political start in Chicago, has kept a low profile since leaving office in January 2017 and had remained a broadly popular public figure and one of the most powerful voices on the political left, while Obama was first elected in 2008 and was the first black president in U.S. history, and he was re-elected in 2012. Harris is the first female, first black, and first as Asian American U.S. vice president, who would be another White House trailblazer if she defeats Republican Donald Trump in November, while no woman has ever been U.S. president. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is also set to deliver remark with the contest entering into last places, and the party hope to badge would propel Harris into autumn. Former U.S. Secretary of State Harry Carleton says the Democratic Party's presidential candidate Kamala Harris will defeat the democracy and Constitution of the United States. Clayton, who was welcome on the stage and applause from the cheering crowd that reportedly lasted for a minute uninterrupted, who disclosed this during a Democratic National Convention in Chicago, added that she will lower costs for hardworking families, open the door wide for good-paying jobs, and she will restore abortion rights nationwide. Cleon also said Harris will defend democracy and continue to protect America from foreign and domestic enemies. Fire broke out in an industry facility on the western Ukraine due to an oversight Russian airstrike. Victor Malier, head of the civil defense, said a flame engulfed a fuel tank in a Tampoli region, while the official tally by the Ukrainian Air Forces Russia deployed 26 combat drones and 5 missiles against the Ukraine during the night. 25 drones and 3 missiles were intercepted, while the military data could not be verified in detail. And a part of the attack was directed against the capital, Kyiv, by all near objects were shot down in the surrounding area. Meanwhile, a large Russian fuel storage facility in the Rostov region bordering Ukraine continued to burn, while authorities plan to deploy 4 firefighting aircraft to engulf the flame. The facility with more 70 tanks were set on fire by Ukraine drone. And now to sports news. Former Chelsea midfielder John Obi Mikel has exposed former captain John Terry's leadership styles at the Stamford Bridge. Terry is regarded as one of the finest defender in the Premier League and England history and obtained the West London side for the major portion of his club career. Mikel, who played under Terry's captaincy for many years, has opened up on what the former England international used to do when the ongoing gets tough. Former Real Madrid midfielder Hugo Guti has said that he urged the Spanish grants to sign Cristiano Ronaldo Portugal tournament Joao Felix back in 2017. Guti said they saw Felix destroy everyone as young player in the youth league and fleet. He would be a good signee. For Luis Bancos, Atlantio Madrid forward produced a series of impressive performances while playing in the Portuguese outfit in the youth leagues before debuting for the senior team and become a top target for several European clubs following his brilliant exploits in the 2018-2019 campaign. He bagged 20 goals and 11 assists in 43 appearances across competition for Benfica that session, while Meet extra